Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the 2009 Beatles remasters for basically all of their albums and singles and why I think they kinda suck. And the reason why isn't because they're mixed poorly. In fact, they're mixed pretty well. You can pinpoint a lot of instruments pretty easily and it is pretty well mixed. The problem is the panning. It is irritating. It is super irritating. And some songs are just unlistenable because everything is panned hard left or hard right except for vocals. Those are the only thing that are actually stereo. And maybe that I haven't heard, there might be like some instruments here or there that might be stereo. But everything else is super hard pan left, hard pan right, and it is very annoying. If you want to listen to the Beatles, this is not the way to do it, in my opinion. It is actually, in my opinion, one of the worst ways, if not the worst way, to listen to the Beatles. Probably even worse than the original mono mixes, even if the instruments do sound better. And, other remasters do exist, and they sound great as well. I recently listened to Revolver, the 2022 mix, and I've never listened to Revolver before, by the way. This is my first time listening to a Beatles album, and it sounds great. I really did like that album, and it just sounded very upfront. From what I've heard, the best improvements over the original record were the bass and the low end. It just sounds more upfront, and it does sound extremely upfront. For example, on Taxman, the kick drum is super upfront and in your face, and the bass is also very good and detailed. Everything just sounds great on that track and on every single track on that album. It just sounds amazing. And if you want to listen, if you're like a purist of like the original form, or like the original music, the mono mixes do exist on that as well. So if you want to listen to the original masters, the mono mixes exist. And there's also other masters like the 2018 remixes of Abbey Road, the White Album, and the Sgt. Pepper's and the Lonely Heart Club's Band. And the only thing that I have heard is that the White Album is a little bit flawed on some songs. For example, in Helter Skelter, from what I've heard, the bass is less detailed, or not less detailed, but less in the mix, and also the iconic blisters on my fingers line on the end is very low in the mix, from what I can tell, from what I heard. And yes, I did listen to the 2018 mix of that song. Yeah, the blisters on my fingers line is a lot lower in the mix, which is kind of a shame. But rather than that, I actually heard the White Album was pretty well mixed as well. So yeah, if you're going to listen to an album remaster from the Beatles, please listen to basically anything else but the 2009 remasters, because in my opinion, they just kind of botch them because of how everything is super hard pan left or hard pan right. And I get some people will like that, but I really do not. I just find it extremely irritating. And also, there's also other remasters by Giles, and as I said before, the 2018 remixes and the 2022 remaster of Revolver. And yeah, that's basically it. I will make I will make reviews of those later Beatle albums once I listen to them. Beatles albums once I listen to them. But yeah, I haven't gotten there yet, but I have listened to Revolver, as I said, and that's great. But that's basically it, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.